Hello, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing a movie review of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And for those of you who aren't familiar with J.R.R. Tolkien, he wrote books back in the day, and they're classics. They are everything that is good in the world, literally. And the movies here made by director Peter Jackson, they do them justice. They're really, really good. I'm going to start at the beginning. I'm going to start at my notes. I don't want to leave nothing out. J.R.R. Tolkien wrote these books. Uh, the book was titled Lord of the Rings. It was a sequel to his earlier work, The Hobbit. And Lord of the Rings came out in 1954, 1955, the books. And in order to get it published, they had to break it up into three different books. The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and Return of the King. The director, Peter Jackson, who made these movies, has turned these three classics into what is quite possibly one of the greatest movie trilogies ever made. They're really, really good. Um, in case you don't know, the plot is Frodo Baggins, he's a hobbit, a little short dude. He's entrusted to take this powerful ring of Sauron, the One Ring, to Mount Doom to destroy it. And it's a long and involved thing. Sauron created all the rings of power and gave them to the different races, but he kept one ring secret back for himself because that one ring controlled all the others, and he poured his evil into it, and that ring had to be destroyed. And so it was entrusted to this little hobbit to take to Mount Doom because they couldn't trust it. Corrupted people and powerful people who became corrupted could do a lot of bad things. Well, this guy wasn't powerful. He was just an everyday person. For him to go and destroy it, if it corrupted him, it wasn't that big. So I guess in the abstract, he was, I don't know, expendable. But Frodo is the star of the show. He's brilliant. You got to see it. It's really good. Read the books too. I highly recommend that. Frodo is joined by 8 companions, and together they comprise the Fellowship of the Ring. That's the first book. The two other movies in the series, The Two Towers and Return of the King, they follow Frodo and his stalwart companion Samwise Gamgee, another hobbit, on their trek to Mount Doom, and they have a lot of adventures and they face a lot of danger. It's a dangerous trek. There's a whole bunch of villains out to try to get them. This is fantasy fiction that deals. Frodo's a hobbit. There's men, there's elves, there's dwarves. The bad guys are orcs and goblins, and there's a dragon. Well, there's not a dragon in this one, but we'll get to the dragon in the other ones. But my point is, there's all kinds of bad guys. There's cave trolls. It's every kind of action adventure you think of when you think of sword and sorcery adventure. It's in this, and this is the basis for a lot of sword and sorcery movies that came later. Uh, I do a series called Family Game Night, and in that I talk about advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons was partly influenced by The Lord of the Rings. It's got elves and dwarves and hobbits and orcs as bad guys and goblins and all kinds of stuff in there. So it's really, really good. If you get the opportunity to check this out, it's well worth a watch. It has been said, and I completely agree, that Lord of the Rings is one of the greatest and most influential film series ever made. And the books are great. The movies are almost as good. And check out this cast. You've got Elijah Wood, Viggo Mortensen, Sean Bean, Dominic Monaghan, Sean Astin, Ian McKellen, John Rhys Davies, Orlando Bloom, Billy Boyd, Ian Holm, Liv Tyler, Hugo Weaving, Kate Blanchett, Andy Serkis, Brad Dourif, John Noble, Christopher Lee, Carl Urban, Miranda Otto, and Bernard Hill. That's just the core cast. There's a bunch more really good ones in there, and I'm gonna tell you something. With a cast like that, you literally can't go wrong. It's just great. And if you get a chance to watch this, you want to watch all three of them back to back if you can. My family, we own all the movies, and we plan for Lord of the Rings marathons, and they're worth it. It's by no means wasted time. So if you get a chance, check these out. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. You folks have a good day. God bless one and all.